And this thing's pulling to the left when I brake, and when I'm not braking, it's pulling to the right. So I'm suspicious if that's the right brake caliper that is seizing up, or the wheel bearing, but I think it's a caliper. So headed home, I'm going to put a temperature gauge laser detector thing on it and see which one's hotter. Whichever one is the hottest, I would imagine that's the one that's seizing up. So if I hit the brakes, it wants to pull to the left. So I constantly, and then it wants to pull to the right if I'm just driving. So see, I constantly have my steering wheel tilted to the left to keep it in the lane. All right, 140 degrees. 444 degrees or whatever. So I would say this side is the problem. Well, you can see where it's discolored. These rotors aren't that old. I'm hoping I can just put a new caliper. I'm going to put a new brake line, and I guess I got to put new pads. Okay, AutoZone, this is going to be one of my first bad Duralast reviews. You see this sway bar bushing? Look how cracked it is. This has only been on here for a few months. You can see it's fairly new. There's no reason why that bushing should be dry rotted just after a few months. It was probably put on around October, November of last year, if that. I've got the tire off and it's flexed. And another thing I'm looking at is look how wattled out that sway bar bushing is there. This is the end link and that's the bushing. That bushing was brand new also and fit perfectly snug. So that's not good. I'm going to take them back. Lifetime warranty, but I'm not sure I want to go that route again. Maybe they offer an upgraded version. All right, this is a Husky set I got when I broke down on the road once. It's pretty much got everything you need. I had to walk to Home Depot, and this was the most comprehensive set at the time they had. The quality's okay, but it's got everything you need. Okay, to take the caliper bolt off, you're going to need a 12 millimeter right here, and that's you can use a 6-point socket on it, but on these they require a 12-point socket. See the weird shape of that bolt? 12-point socket, and that's a 13 millimeter for the bracket. This is why I like these flexible ratchets. This is a Duralast. It works pretty good. And since I'm changing the brake line, I'm going to go ahead and take the brake line bolt off, which is right here on the caliper, before I remove it, make it easier. And if you go up here, look how rusty that is. So I'm going to put some PB Blaster on it. Let it soak for a little bit. And the brake line bolt is actually a 9/16. Some of these things are metric, some are not, but that's 9/16. And don't forget when you break that brake line bolt to put a catch pan underneath it, because you're going to lose some brake fluid. And when you go to take this off, use a flare wrench that's a little different. It's 3/8. It gets a better grip on that. These things are easy to strip out. And then you're going to need a Torx. That Torx is a T40. So this is what the brake line looks like. The upper bracket is made onto it. If you're going to change this, I would suggest changing the brake line. Don't know how old that is. All right, now that I got the caliper bolts out, I'm going to have to beat this thing off. You can see it's all burnt up in there. And to reduce the brake dust before you start beating on it, you can spray a little brake cleaner on it. Let's see if it moves. Yep. The previous owner just replaced these brake pads. These things are pretty thick. It looks just like this caliper froze up, and it just froze up like on my way home. So this pad just snaps out, but this one, you got to take a screwdriver and pry these little things up. Just pry it off of there. Now, just to be sure that brake line was clear, what I did was I unbolted the brake line that goes to that caliper from this proportioning valve, and then I blew it out with some air. And now I'm going to squirt some clean fluid through it with this Cajun injector turkey baster. Oops. And I heard it come out over here. So that line has now been flushed. All right, here are the part numbers for the passenger side. Duralast, it's lifetime warranty, but it is made in China. And this says product of China. But this is a remanufactured unit, so what do you know? This AutoZone caliper comes with all new bolts, so that's kind of nice. All new bolts, including a new bolt and washers for the brake hose. I don't know if that's a new piston or not. It looks new. All right, the caliper comes with two little copper washers, and you're going to put one on one side of the nut and on the side of the caliper. Now I can tell you. Well, I guess it's almost the same size. It looks like this new one's a little thinner, but I guess it's the same. I'm gonna put a caliper on it.
We bled the brakes on both sides. We got brake fluid everywhere, and I've been pressing the brakes. Going to the left. When I press the brakes.
Wanted it better work.
With all this new stuff on it, it better work, says Mike. Oh, I didn't mean to use your real name. You have to cut that video.
And of course, always torque your bolts